Hello everyone, I'm Sifu Lawrence Hill. Welcome back to Systems Within Systems. Today I'm going to discuss and show a little bit of the Tai Chi and get into the many different styles and ways that there are out there and how I introduce my style to it. Tai Chi, to me, if it's not done properly, can actually do damage over the years. Like carpal tunnel, when you're constantly in one position all the time and you start developing carpal tunnel, it's the same with the Tai Chi. If you're not feeling how your knee is lined up, how your hip is lined up, how your neck is lined up, and you're trying to do it for the healing benefits, you may lose that and actually may be tearing the body down. So we're going to discuss that a little bit in some instructional video that I'm going to be doing. Also, as well, the idea of the fighting styles of Tai Chi. Tai Chi on its own is a very good fighting style, but I find it elevates a lot more when you combine it with other fighting techniques such as boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts, or any aspect, jiu-jitsu, or any aspect of kung fu or karate. The Tai Chi really helps you understand the idea of cotton over steel. So your movements become more fluid, more graceful. You have an overall understanding of from the mind moving through the body, how the body is moving, how you're lining up when you strike or when you hit. It also increases one's speed, right? And the idea of timing and range. So it has a lot of benefits when it's adjacent to other martial arts. In its purity, in itself, is also very good. Though I've kind of reinvented the wheel in a lot of things as far as goes with the pushing hands and whatnot. I do a thing called form fighting that I bring the Tai Chi in, which brings it more to reality, which in future videos we may show that as well. But it's very hard to teach on a video. But the idea of actually the cotton over steel and the movement and adjacent it, I mean, it could be bike riding, playing tennis, basketball. It could go into every venue. And what's great about the Tai Chi, most people can do it. You know, no matter what age group you are and what you're looking for in it. Mixed martial artists or martial artists can really benefit from doing the Tai Chi and the overall health benefits that go from it, as far as moving the blood through the organs, getting the blood, each movement represents a different way that the blood is moving through the heart, understanding centering your heart and making your heart muscle very strong. It promotes T cells, oxygen to the body and to the muscles. It really has a lot of benefits when it's done right and in the proper meditation of movement. Today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the Tai Chi and how I interpret it in its movement and the things that I found through the many years of doing it. The first breakdown we're going to do is the initial movement. Now, a lot of people, when they start the Tai Chi, will start with their legs in different positions, some straight, some angled. I start with a little bit of angle. I don't connect the heels. I leave a little space or gap in between them. But the first move is just standing there and recognizing what the body is doing. Straightening out your body. Some people, when they straighten out their bodies and they're standing here, will over-exaggerate and go back. Well, just standing straight, if you just experience standing straight and understanding and correcting your posture by moving your pelvis, putting your spine, tucking your butt in, all of this stuff, you may feel very awkward with it because you never really stood perfectly straight before. The whole idea of the first move and the positioning is first get comfortable. So you don't really start Tai Chi right away. You know, you would walk in, you would bow yourself in to the move, and then you would stand here and just kind of like be one with just standing, right? Now, in this oneness here, if you could see from the side angle, if I'm standing here, you see how I switched my hip this way, my butt is sticking out a little bit. Straight is this way. Not moving this way, but this way. And you have to understand that. So you're working very much with your spine, right? And the spinal fluid going through you, moving through the different parts of your body. Your spine is very important. Tai Chi concentrates very much on your bones. All your muscle, your organs, and everything is on the bones. Those bones have to lift you up out of bed and get you to go from one place to the other, and all the muscles do it. So there's a lot of weight. You start to understand the density of your bones and how the bone structure moves. The health benefits of the Tai Chi are to keep the energy, your body energy, your essence in a sense, moving through the marrow of your bones, and that's how you stay supple, right? And have that flexibility. If you notice, when people get older, they get more brittle. As they get more brittle, they fall, they break a hip, and all of these other things that start happening. The idea is to keep the bones soft. Like when you're in the mother's womb, your chi at that point, and we won't go into too much what chi is about, just talk about it as energy, is very pliable. So your bones, you can actually mold and move the bones. You want to try to keep that. Once the baby comes out, you know, the bones start to harden a little bit. And then as throughout your lifetime, they get very hard, stronger than metal. And that's the whole idea of the cotton over steel. And as you get older, they get brittle. The idea of the Tai Chi is to keep them from getting brittle. And that's why it's important to have proper movement and understand how you're moving with the Tai Chi. And as I said, there's many different teachers out there, many different styles. This is the way that I interpret it, and I just want to share it with everybody here. So again, starting from the beginning, I come into my spot, my heels could be slightly apart or together, and I practice first just standing. This theme exists throughout the whole form, okay? So the first part is my shoulders, my arms are just laying here, like they're just spinning like a willow tree, right? My root or my core, my root is in my center. Root is not in my feet. It projects to my feet, it projects through my arms, and that is an overall body movement, right? I'm not like rooting in my feet, nailing it to the ground, right? It's all being expressed through. So the arms move very naturally, right? Just like by spinning and moving here, and then you bring something to it, and it actually starts executing some technique. So standing is very, very important. Once you feel comfortable with that, your head should be like a Christmas tree ornament. Your shoulders relax. People do the Tai Chi, they move up. It shows stress. Tai Chi is supposed to have you get a concept and understanding of your own body as stress and the expression of your own movement and personality coming into the movement. So if you could picture your neck, right, staying center like a Christmas tree ornament, right, and the string is in the middle of your head, and it's just kind of floating there, very relaxed. The shoulders aren't tensed, they're down. Your arms are just the natural weight. You start straightening out your body, right? Understanding the whole idea of just this position at first. So stand here for a little bit to get that whole idea of movement. So even though you're not moving, you're moving, and internally you're moving. Now your eyes are traveling within your sockets. If you look down, you shouldn't be looking down with your head. If you're looking to the side, you shouldn't be looking to the side. If my hands go up, and I'm going to look to the side in parts of the Tai Chi, my corner of my eye is catching that, and I move very slightly. I shouldn't be doing this type of movement anywhere in the form except in the direction I'm going in. So I'm not looking down or up. Your eye should be to the front and what you're doing, kind of like in the same that we talked about earlier in some of the other videos in the T form, right? Kind of comfortable. But once you look down, you're changing the eye position, the neck position. Keep everything kind of uniform. And the reason I teach the Tai Chi the way that I do is because there's no bending over, it's keeping the heart straight, right? So it's a little bit more disciplined as far as doing that. All right, so now I'm standing straight. So the first move in the Tai Chi is going to be coming down this way here, right? From here to here. Now, this movement, my knee should be going even to my toe. So it shouldn't be coming out this way or in this way. I shouldn't be rocking and rolling on the ball of my foot. It should be coming straight down. So as I'm coming down with this, I'm coming down even, and both knees are facing the same direction. As I'm coming down, then I lift as I'm moving down. My hands are relaxed, and I'm lifting as I'm moving down, right? Now, here's the part that I wanted to talk about, and this theme goes throughout the whole form, all right? We're not going to break it down throughout the whole form, but you'll get an idea of it. If I'm standing sideways, when people start to come down, and they're moving down, as they're moving down, their butt starts coming out. See how the heart tilts. So you'll see that, very subtlety, you may not see that. But if you're looking for it, you do see that my butt's coming out and I'm leaning forward. You have to monitor that. That type of movement exists throughout the whole form. So the standing position And the movement from the standing position has to exist, that theme throughout the whole movement of the form. And as we get into wider movements, bigger steps, depending on how you want to take it, usually I take very wide steps when I do it by myself to actually work out the movement, over exaggerate the movement, so I'm getting a very full length stance and really working the form out. That's up to you. When I first learned the form, my Sifu Cheng Hsiang Yu would take it and have me go into these really wide stances just so that I really express it, and you could bring that to the plate on your own. All right, so from here, right, as I'm moving here now, you saw the first movement, very subtlety, but it's not right. If I'm coming down here, I'm constantly changing this. So it's not, I'm not just going boom. The movement exists in between the movements. So as I'm coming down, I'm realigning my hip, my pelvis, everything, my shoulders, and moving myself straight down till I get to that point before I shoot out the leg. When I start shooting out the leg, or before you step, I like to call it stepping on quicksand. So instead of stepping, you'll find that you're walking, even if you're walking in a city, if you're just walking around, will get much lighter, especially if you had a very hard work day and you're stepping this way, you know? It's called testing for quicksand. I step and then I come down. If I'm doing a Tai Chi, I step and then I come down. That's going to exist throughout the whole form. So when I'm making a move, I'm not going dropping down. I'm stepping out, stepping, coming down and moving. I'm stepping out with my toes, testing for the quicksand, stepping out and moving. This becomes very important throughout the form as well. Okay, so that being said, let's begin, and I'll break down the movement as we're going through it. First, straighten yourself out. Oh, one other thing I'd like to mention is your breathing. Breathe naturally. There is a breathing method. The breathing method and the style of breathing is usually done separately, and then eventually throughout the time of you doing the art of Tai Chi, the breathing will combine naturally with it in everything that you do. And eventually everything becomes Tai Chi. All right? You're cooking, getting out of your car, waking up out of bed, walking from one place to the other. You start becoming more one with who and what you are and everything that's around you. All right, so if you notice, I'm start the Tai Chi, I'm going to look down here, but I'm not going to drop my head. I'm going to pick my head up and look. I may fixate on that point a little bit, and as it changes, my eyes move in my sockets, not down and up. Okay, so first move, I start coming down. As I come down and my knee reaches this point, as I'm coming down, I slide out this foot. You see where I'm testing the quicksand here. Now at this point here, I fell. I feel that my butt is out. I straighten that out, you see? So from here to here, I straighten it out. You have to be mindful of that going throughout the form. So I'm simply not going here, and I get here, I can feel my heart is bent. I can feel my butt is out, right? From here to here, I'm bent. I straighten this out as I'm doing it. I can't stress that enough. So it's subtle though. As I'm coming down this way here and I'm coming out, I'm not doing this here to get myself there. It's very subtle. You should feel that. You should be aware. The whole idea of getting the spine to move its fluids throughout your body is very important, to have everything lined up. And also my knees lined up so I'm not causing knee damage. Knee damage in the Tai Chi is very popular because they overextend. They're turning the knee a different way. The knee is like this way, or it's this way, or it's coming too far over. It should be stopping around here, not lined up this way and this way. And over the years, you stay that way, it causes knee damage. I know because that's what I've experienced with it. Okay? All right. So, from here, we're going to begin coming down. Straighten your body out. Slide out. This foot straightens out. And now I'm going to switch my weight. As I switch my weight, you see, I'm going to straighten out my body. This bucket of water empties into this bucket. Then I can pick this up. So when all the energy or chi is dumped into this bucket, it releases the pressure off of here to straighten this out. Then I'm going to come back even, straighten out again. You see how I'm straightening that out? You won't see that if I just do it. And then I'm going to sink here, come up, and my body's still rising up, straightening out my hips. My arms reach my shoulders. I straighten out my spine more, and I come up. Okay, so in this part here, it's like as you're coming up, your spine is this way here. So as you see me moving, I'm straightening out that bottom part of my spine, which is sending blood, oxygen, right, T cells throughout my whole body. So I'm not just coming up this way, I'm coming up and moving and stretching out that spine. So on that lift, when I'm coming up with this lift, I'm not just going 1, 2, 3. When I get to this point here, my hands are moving, my hips turn back here. So I'm moving this all through it. When I get to that point, that part here, I'm still lifting because I'm straightening up my shoulders, my back, and then I'm expressing that movement. So it's at this point that my whole lift of my body is actually stopped. The stretching of my spine is stopped, and now I'm opening up. And then I'm going to be coming back. There's two ways of coming back. One way of coming back is this way. One way of coming back is this way. I like coming back this way here because it pulls a little more on my spine, and then I like floating down, and you float down evenly. All right, so the next part I'll do without saying anything till we get to the next part, and you see, notice the subtleties in the movement. You guys ready back there? All right, first motion. And then your fingers drop about 45 degree, point a little bit in front of you. Now, on that movement there, the subtleties, if you could see, there was changing. You'll even see me cheat a little bit, and I'll rotate my feet. If I don't feel comfortable, I have to get them back and everything, my body in line, because the bones are very important. If you're not moving naturally with the bones, that's how you start doing damage to your bones and also damage to your muscle groups, okay? So it's very important to be mindful. Tai Chi is a moving meditation. That's what's great about it. The other point I want to bring out here, you know, sometimes life schedules are very busy. And once you have the Tai Chi, whatever speed you begin with is the speed you end with. So we're going slower for the purpose of the video, but you may be practicing at home and you may want to move some more this way, you know, where you're just really kind of playing with the form and feeling, and you could see I'm really picking up the speed, but all the action, all the nuances that I'm showing are also coming in with it. So it's very important to be mindful with that, the speed you're going to do. If you have the time, this is the long form, right? If you have the time to do the whole form, it takes about maybe a half an hour to 35 minutes to do. Usually I cut that down, depending on my work schedule, to maybe 20 minutes. It takes me to get through the whole form. If I'm very calm and subdued that day and that's all I'm going to be doing, it probably takes me about a half hour to 35 minutes to finish the whole grouping. And I do feel much better after it. The benefits are amazing. Okay, again, from the beginning, and we'll bring it a little bit further, every move represents a different pumping of the heart. So your heart can't be moving this way or this way, right? You can't be moving sideways. You got to keep that posture. Once I do this, I'm sending blood through different parts of my body. Each move that I do represents a different type of movement of blood moving through my body, through the center of my heart, and getting back and working its way up to the brain and giving me all that extra oxygen, right? And all that movement is representing. You'll actually feel it, like relate to it, I would say more. I don't want to get into what Qi is about. All right. Quickly, if we talked about Qi, Qi moves the blood. It's the best way of saying it. So if you get sensations, like I'm a very hyper person, my hands shake a little bit. Sometimes if I have too much coffee, it shakes a lot too. You know, it's the blood moving through your body. So the Qi helps the blood move through the body. It's more like a hidden river that's moving the actual river. So that's the best way of actually thinking about it. If you feel sensations like your hands start tingling, especially in certain parts of the form, that's your blood, that's not qi. Blood is just operating and moving through you. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, because you don't want to focus any of your blood into one spot. The blood should constantly keep moving, and that's why each move integrates into another. Once this stops, another move begins. Once this stops, another move begins. Once this stops, another move begins. So one move goes right into the other. There's nowhere in the form that it stops. It always continues. So I'm not going one, back, two, back. It's all in the whole movement of the whole body. And qi works the same way. You can't measure qi, but it's there. To me, it's life essence. All right? Okay, so again, starting from the beginning and taking this further, we're going to begin coming down, keeping your posture right, sliding out, stepping, testing the quicksand, straighten out the foot, pick up onto the heel, straighten this foot out, come back. Now, I'm moving my hip even, coming down, being very mindful of that, brushing the side of my legs, coming up, coming up, coming up. Up, up, up. I'm still lifting my center of my body. Straighten that out. Now I open up. Very powerful move. Coming back. All right. Coming back and floating down. Try to keep the hands as even as possible and then point. At this point here, all right, depending on your stance, you can have a wide stance, you can have a short stance. I'm going to first sit and turn. Now, when I'm sitting and turning, I'm going to sit, turn, I'm going to be looking in this way. You could look down, see your feet, especially when you first start learning it, but your eyes should be what's traveling, right? Now, the hand motion on that sit and turn is going to be heart level, right? Your right hand's going to be by your heart. Your next hand, your left hand's going to be, say, belly button, maybe a little bit below the belly button, depending on where you want. It's called holding the ball. My palms, if there was a stick, it's got to try to be matched up palm to palm. So I'm not doing this here like actually hugging the ball, I'm holding the ball. And the movement is like Spider-Man, all right? In the sense that I shoot out a web and my foot's moving. My leg is going to end a hair before the movement goes into the next movement. So I'm not going here, 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 all right? The movement at this point here, are you guys with me on this? I'm going to sit, turn, and hold the ball. So now I'm facing completely in that direction. Now, at this point here, many people start to shrink their hands up. Keep your hands focused on this area. Don't shrink it as you're going into the move. As I'm coming down with this motion here, I'm going to come down throughout the whole foot. This is the point where you're going to make your switch to turn and pivot to this way, and keeping that knee facing towards this. If you feel that you have to move this foot a little bit, that's fine. As you're doing the form, don't put strain on the bone or on the knee. All right, so when I'm making this move here, think of it as you step down throughout the whole foot. You don't want to have weight on the heel, on the side of the foot, on the toe of the foot, on the back of the foot, like a pancake batter throughout the whole hand. All right, so when I'm making this move from here, I'm going to sit, turn, and hold the ball. All right, most of the weight is in my center, right? 60-40, no, even less on here, maybe 10% on the heel. No pushing down, but it should be focusing on here so it's evenly distributed, throughout the legs. Now so most of the water is in this bucket, maybe 10% in this bucket. As I start coming forward, I'm going to feel that pancake mix and regulate my foot. At this point here, I come up on my toe. Now, when I come up on my toe, I don't push past my knee. This is the big problem. I don't come on my toe and I go this way here. When I come up my toe, I lift just a little bit to keep that straight, and now I'm going to pivot, still holding the ball. Now I slide to the front, okay? At this point here, I'm going to step out. This doesn't drop. I step out, and then I move a little bit further to regulate that. At that point here, I'm going to start to wave, right? I'm going to bring my hand up like in a wave position, At that point, this foot, when the bucket changes, comes to here. The water empties into this bucket. I'm waving so I could pick up on the heel. So there's very little in here. Most people don't pick up on the heel. To me, this is very high class. All right? As I'm doing this here, this hand stays from holding the ball to here, turns in. This hand turns up. Then I'm going to come past my wrist, turning my foot, coming out, and this shoulder just tucks in the arm naturally. And then this hand lays down at the side, you see? There's none of this, none of this. It's very relaxed at this position. From here now, I'm going to come up again. I'm going to move up, right? And then I'm going to turn and hold the ball. So now I'm on the opposite side. This has got to slide out. It can be done on a straight line or an angle, depending on your preference. For the video, I'll do a straight line. I'm going to come out here. Then I'm going to step again, you see? And then step a little bit further. As I switch, you see my butt's coming out like this here? Straighten that out. Be aware of that. So as I get relaxed, I'm bending over. Straighten that out. Feel where that's coming from. And I can feel the weight on this foot. So much water into this leg yet. Switch the bucket. As I switch the bucket, my bottom hand's going to come to my elbow. As it picks up from my elbow, that's my Spider-Man string, picks up onto the heel. Now I'm going to follow my forearm as my foot's turning in the direction. Remember, I'm going straight. These guys may be going on an angle. I'm going to come down here. My palm is going to be facing out. This is for the push. And my four fingers and my middle fingers right in the center of my palm. I'm going to be coming out here, and if I decide to move it out this way here, you see where my knee's all twisted? That's the mistake. It's got to be here. You see? This is what you'll do. Everybody does this. You've got to be mindful of what this is doing and not coming over this way, not pushing it this way, this way. This is what causes the knee problems. So, as I'm coming out with this motion here, I may come out and I may sink this body down even further to try to keep that knee from straightening out. Be playful. Be playful. All right, so from here now, I'm going to bring myself back. So, if I'm just coming back with my hands on my hips, I'm just doing this motion here, right? But I'm not locking the knee. I'm coming back nice and easy with it. At this point here, as I'm doing this move, I'm going to open this up, and this is going to reach to my elbow. When it reaches my elbow, I drop myself down. Now again, I'm teaching, so my head is bent and whatnot. These guys should be doing it the right way. As I'm coming down here, I'm going to straighten this out. That's what I mean. You're correcting the form as you go. There's no such thing as perfect form, right? So from here, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come down. Palms are facing in. And then I'm going to lift up. As I lift up, I'm not going to turn. The corner of my eye is looking at my fingers this way. I'm looking this way, but still keeping myself straight. So now that whole movement is coming from here to here to here. And I may even lift my body up a little bit because it just feels good. At this point here, I'm going to start coming forward. Paying attention to my knee. See, this knee's lined up. This knee's got to be lined up. I'm going to turn my hand as I'm coming in. People do this move differently. I'm going to come down, keep straightening out my body, and then it's like unscrewing a cap. I'm going to come out, open my hands out. At that last point, I'm going to like wash my hands. Now, as I start coming back, my legs are always first. I come back, my hands are going to follow. My elbows tuck in, and then I start coming forward, my hands are going to follow. And then as I come into what I call the Frankenstein move, my hands follow, and then I come up onto the heel. So on this motion here, guys, get right here with me. As I come to this point, you don't want to be doing this, you see? If I am doing this, then I want to straighten myself out to come down. You could play, like I said. Here, I'm going to come back, the hands follow. Now you see, at this point here, I start coming forward, the hands are still coming back, and then they follow. That's the push, right? Straightening myself out. Then I may come up a little bit in my stance. I straighten out, and I come up to the heel. This next part, I'm going to turn, 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 turn. Now here I start feeling a little pressure on my knee. It is cool and okay at that point to just move your foot a little bit and get yourself to completely turn to the side, depending on how flexible you are and how your knee position is. Then at that point, I'm going to come down and I'm going to keep my knee even with the toe to make my next move. All right? So we take this motion again, and you'll see where I'm going to shuffle my feet a little bit. I'm going to cheat. All right? So here, turn, 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 turn. Here I feel a little pressure. I move my foot a little bit. I'm going to come down. Then I'm going to switch. As this hand reaches to my knee, I can feel the pressure on my knee. I turn my foot a little bit to line up. This hand movement is going to come this way out, right? This way out. All right, I'm going to follow my arm down. This is how I like to do it. My knee now, even, the foot turns even with my knee to come into the knee. None of this movement comes into the form. It just turns to come into the knee. If I feel myself bent, I straighten myself out. Now, as this bends, I come down for the travel move, right? Down for the travel move. Now, at this point here, I'm going to switch my weight. Heel up, and I'm catching the water. When I get to this point here is when I move down and I empty the water out. Thank you for watching Systems Within Systems. Please give the thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe. We're also going to be doing a podcast coming up on more of the Tai Chi, since I can't really discuss everything that's here and about the fundamentals of it, and probably also as well talking more about personality.
If you'd like to see more, you can check out the website, systemswithinsystems.com, or you can go look at the podcast called The Way of Violent Realization, hosted on Podbean. You can find the links in the description below.
This is a pretty detailed video, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them below, and we'll do our best to get back to you.
Thank you again.